Hello, hello, and hello. And nope, I am Coach Michelamon'e,
And I'm Coach Vaughn, the Love Alchemist,
and welcome to his
and her perspective, where we share
where
common. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Where we find common ground to harmonize relationships.
Yes, and today we are going to talk about why your choices keep leaving you heartbroken, part one. So
Mm.
we are going to have some fun with this conversation today. It's going to be great. We already got 5 viewers on, 4 hearts already. So we are in the money right now.
All right, all right. Hey,
So
listen, for those before we get started, for those of you who might be watching the replay, or you might be watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that like button, and also share this video.
yes, absolutely.
And
So
speaking of video sharing, share now. You need to invite some friends to what we're doing now. Go ahead and share. Hit that like button for us and share this video out to your friends and family.
yes, as a matter of fact, do a watch party. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Just click it, do it. You can just go do something else. No, we don't want you to do something else. Just click and watch it too. Right?
Now, don't
But
do
make
nothing else.
sure
Stay
you
with.
right, share, subscribe, and say something. Don't forget us. Just talk to us. This is not about us talking to you or at you. This is about us engaging with you. So make sure that you're saying something too.
Yep.
So, but hey, listen, before we move forward, we always do this. What's in your cup?
Oh man. Today I don't have the alchemist cup. Today I have my big old thermos,
That's okay.
and I have today some what does she call this? This is pomegranate tea.
Okay.
Pomegranate.
All
So
right.
good stuff. Got it from the Ashford Tea Company right here in Savannah, and real good flavor. What you have? What you drinking on?
My brother sent me my nickname for it is Roly Rose Root, but it's pronounced the word.
Rhodiola.
That's what I got in my cup.
Rhodiola.
Some rhodiola. I do. And so I tried it the first time and it was okay. But this time I let it seep a little bit longer than the 5 minutes. So it tastes really good. I like the rose smell from it.
Mm.
I like that look. I like the fact that it's kind of rosy. So that makes me feel like I'm drinking something real good. And it tastes
Okay.
really good. I put a little raw honey in it because it is bitter, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So it tastes good. That's what I'm drinking on today.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
See if by the end of if by the end of this, if I'm as cool as you.
Well, I wouldn't aim so high on your first try.
Well, you
Keep
know what?
let's keep it realistic.
Bring it on down. Just bring it on down. Bring
Yeah,
it real down.
I
That's
think
all
after
right.
a few cups, though, you might be able to get in the game.
All right, all right. Well, I'm trying to be like my brother, even though you're my big little brother. I'm just trying to be
Right.
like you. I'm trying to be
Okay.
like you. So look, this topic right here, um, it's kind of, it hits home because I've been in this place before where I've made some real bad choices, and I've had some heartbreaks.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so it hits home, but this is one of the things that I'm really passionate about because I really, my whole business is designed around making sure that my clients kind of miss the pitfalls, or if they haven't missed the pitfalls that I've gone through, then to help them maneuver and navigate through them effectively. So making sure that their choices are better and their pickers are not broken, and things of that sort, so that they can have ultimately better relationships, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things, I want to talk about some of the reasons why that they keep making these choices and leaving their hearts broken. So, one of the things I think is that sex becomes one of the things in the picture too quickly. You become intimate with this person too fast. And one of the things that I think is, because some people like, well, what's too fast? you know, there's nothing wrong with abstinence. 'Cause, you know, abstinence bring your genius out. And if you don't believe me, go and read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, because it does, you know. I started being abstinent in 2016, and I think I'm real smart right now. I think I'm real smart right up in here. So,
Yeah.
but I think that this, you know, what do you think about that? I mean, having somebody, you know, what do you think is too soon?
Man, you know, the old fashioned rules, of course, would say, you know, wait till you're married. But I know most people ain't trying to hear that, right? So I would say, if nothing else, especially, you know what, I'm not even going to isolate one or the other. I would say definitely not before you are absolutely sure. And we can never be 100% sure, right? But at least feel very strong that we want the same outcome.
Yeah.
So there are times where, you know, a woman, for instance, might think, I feel real strong that he loves me. I feel like he really cares about me, and so on. He does nice things for me. He's always da 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 da. Go down the list, right? But she never got the verbal commitment from him that she's looking for. So, for instance, if she wants to be married within the next 3 to 5 years, and marriage is not on his agenda, well, that's an important conversation. If you're having sex with this guy, or even with this woman, for a man who wants the same thing, and you want children but she doesn't, or you want marriage and he doesn't, that means you guys are not aligned. And
Right.
if your views and your values don't align, you're not coming together in agreement. So what you're really doing is masturbating.
Mm.
Is that too heavy?
With somebody else.
I can't take it. I can't take it back. So
You sure can, but that was good though. Think about that. Let that sit for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just using somebody else's body, you know, for ultimately a fruitless end. Because if you're not coming together in agreement, I mean, it's fun, you're having a good time and it feels good. But if one of you is looking for something more than that, then you're wasting your time, and ultimately you're creating these energies, these connections, if you want to call it soul ties, with people that you really have no business being tied to.
Yes. Yes. Sierra said, that's for sure. You know, I think this is one of the things that I talk about in the book that's going to be coming out mid-September. And it basically is talking about the seasons and relating in relationships. And I talk about making sure that you know all the seasons of that person, you know, and it has nothing to do with time really, because, you know, when you get older, you kind of know what you want a little bit differently than you do when you're in your 30s. You know, you might wait 3-4 years if you're in your 30s, but if you're in your 50s or older, you might be like, listen, in a year we married, and people will be like, really? No, you just need to see the seasons. And I talk about the seasons and making sure that you know how they deal in trials, tribulations, how they deal with success. How do they deal with timing and waiting? How do they deal with different things that can really come up early on in a relationship, or depending on that person and how much they're open they are to you, which if they're not being open to you, you definitely should not be having sex with them.
Yeah.
That's just a definite. So if you're not seeing some of the things I talk about in my book, I mean, like within the first 6-7 months, then you need to be turning stage left, you know, because you're not going to be able to change that person. And a lot of times we find that people are trying to change the other person. Well, I don't like this about them, but I like that. Or I don't really like that about them, but I like this. So they feel like, well, if I wait a little bit, if I show them how much I love them, then they'll change for me. Or I'm not like that other person that they were with before, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And just, man, you know, I mean, there's so many levels to this conversation, you know, but premature sex, I think, so I'm trying to keep it PG, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, so many of us are so much more concerned with how it feels, you know, because abstinence is hard, you know. And so that's commendable that, that you've gone as long as you have. But that takes, a great deal of, first of all, desire. You have to really want to. You have to really see the value in that. And most of us don't see the value in that. Nobody taught us that. Nobody talked to us about these ideas that you referenced in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And so most of us are walking around out here like the feeling matters more than the actual result of that action.
Yeah.
And the truth of it is that the result of those actions, especially when you're doing those actions with people whose end game isn't the same as yours, I mean, you end up causing yourself so much more pain than the frustration from not having sex to begin with.
Right.
You're gonna have to break away from that entanglement.
Right. Right. So Karen Clapton Holloway says, waiting until you are sure that you two want the same things is very important because premature sex can complicate thoughts and choices. And you are very right, Karen, because we don't understand the dynamics of what happens, but there's things that happen, the oxytocin that actually thank you. Oxytocin that actually releases in the body. It is kind of a trick hormone, right? It makes you feel like you're in love. It makes you feel like you just can't be without this person. It gives you that, and it's really not. It's just a hormone in your body that has been released as when you're having intercourse. And people don't understand. They don't talk about those types of things. They just go, why? You're trying to figure out, why do I love him so much? Yeah, because you just had sex. And usually, because if you're having sex without protection, you're going to get that.
Yeah.
You're releasing those hormones into, that soul tie, as the church folks say. But that is what's happening chemically to your body, that you're mixing those things. So people don't get that. And it causes us to feel attached to somebody that we really don't if we thought about it and was logical about it, probably wouldn't be attached to them.
Yeah. It's actually a bonding chemical.
Mm-hmm.
And so the oxytocin, bonding chemical, bonding hormone, however you might want to refer to it. But an interesting thing that they did with chimpanzees in the wild, they have natural childbirth just like women do. But when they perform cesarean sections, when they perform C-sections on these chimpanzees in the wild, then the child doesn't have the benefit of coming through the birth canal. And so that bonding chemical, that oxytocin that's normally released during childbirth, it doesn't get released when the child is taken out via C-section. And so they found that the mothers of those baby chimpanzees wanted nothing to do with their offspring.
Wow.
Because they didn't bond in the sense that they would naturally do.
Because of the oxytocin.
Because of the oxytocin. And so this is if my understanding is correct on this is a similar chemical that women release during sex.
Mm-hmm.
So that bonding takes place. And again, sometimes you bond to people that you shouldn't be with, and then you just find yourself stuck.
Yeah. And you're trying to get away, but it's almost like your body keeps calling you to them, and you're trying to figure out why. And that's really why. So when you understand the dynamics are far beyond your quote unquote emotions that have nothing to do with that, you're adding to them because you are lingering in it. You're lingering in, I just feel for this person. No, think about what they do, who they are, how they're responding to you, how they're reacting to you, and really think logically. If I had never had sex with this person, would I see them long term? Would I see them down the road? Can I see myself at 93 years old in a rocking chair with this person? Can I see myself having children with this? These are the times of things that you should be thinking about. I've been telling my kids, I wish my kids, I don't know if they're on here yet, but I've been telling my son and my daughter since they were small, do not have sex with somebody that you cannot see yourself being with forever. Why? Because if you can give your life to them for what, 15 minutes to an hour, then you should be able to give your life to them forever. And if you can't see that, then you should not be doing it.
Yeah.
You know, Sierra says, I got too many mice over here. Sierra says, so if you're trying to get away from someone, you should no longer be intimate. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good idea. That's probably the first place to start.
Yeah.
If you're concerned, if you are committed to getting away from them, breaking away from them, then you definitely want to start doing things to weaken that tie to them. One of the things, to your point about what you told your children, I love telling. See, there's this double standard, right? We talk about double standards in our society all the time, and for men, for males, we think it's just a one-off. We think we can just do it and then be done with it. But it's so much more to it than that, because for one, we talked about the ties, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's the potential that she might actually become a mother as a result of your interaction with this woman, with this female. And so what I advise young men is, if you can't legitimately see her as being the mother of your child and being happy about that, then don't have sex with her. Because when you do produce a child, which is always a realistic possibility, whether you're using condoms, whether you're pulling out, whatever it is that you think you're doing, whether she's on the shot or the pill, whatever, still a child is always a possibility. And so if you don't see qualities in her that you genuinely appreciate, things in her that you genuinely admire, and then ways about her that you would love for your children to emulate, mm-hmm. then you better not have sex with her. Or I would say I advise against you having sex with her, because 9 times out of 10, your child is going to come out acting just like her.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're going to be mad about it. And you're going to be trying to figure out, what did you do?
You act just like your daddy. You act just like your mom. I can't,
Yeah.
A whole nother conversation.
So, I mean, man, and like I said, for real, it does. It gives you, if you turn that energy into you actually putting it towards what you want out of life, you'll be surprised at the things that you can accomplish. I'm one of those people that if I think about it and I think, oh, that's a great idea, I'm running to it. I'm just going to do it. And I have, one of my friends says, oh, you have that gift to do. Because if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And a lot of that has to do with that energy.
Transmutation is what they call it.
You say what?
They call it transmutation.
Yeah, sex transmutation. So you mutate that to something else, right? So another thing that I've noticed about some of the things I've noticed with some clients I've dealt with is that they're chasing them. They're chasing the guy. And instead of that guy chasing them, I've been guilty of that myself before, where I was chasing and it didn't seem like I was chasing, but when I say chasing, it's not necessarily like you're the one that's you one saw them in the corner, I'm gonna go get that guy. No, you're making all the phone calls, you are setting up all the dates, you're initiating all the everything. You're initiating everything that has to do with the relationship, and you might even say something about it, and that person will be like, well, I just didn't know what you want to do. And the fact that you said it and they didn't change it, red flag, because maybe they didn't know, maybe they didn't know. So you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But once you mention it and they still do the same thing and they're not coming for you, because men are natural. They're natural hunters, right? Yes. So they're gonna hunt, and if they're not hunting you, they're hunting somebody else.
That's heavy. Is that always true? I don't know. Maybe it's probably true more often than not. I will give you that. Yeah.
Okay, so even if they're not hunting, okay, so for those, that small percentage that may not be hunting another person, they're hunting something else in their life, and they're not ready for you. That's the bottom line. Yeah. So it could be him hunting and him being career or success minded. And he's like, I just got to get this, and then I'll worry about a relationship. But he's still not ready. And that's really the major thing, is you want somebody on the same page as you, and you shouldn't have to chase anybody to do that. They should be, even if it's just if he's a shy guy and he's coming to you and meeting you halfway, but you shouldn't be running 90%.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think You could even just simplify it. Whatever else he might be into, the point is he's just not that into you. Didn't they make a movie about that?
They did.
He's just not that into you. And so if you feel a healthy sense of self-worth, then that's not going to do it, because one of the key things that keeps women feeling healthy about the relationship is this idea that they feel wanted. So they say that women like to feel wanted, and men like to feel needed.
Yeah.
And when I say needed, I mean, like my wife comes to me with a jar of pickles, and she may say, hey baby, can you open this for me? Now I'll open it, of course, and it feels good to be the strong guy to open something or to reach something that she can't reach. But I learned something about my wife, and she's been tricking me, because my wife been tricking me, man. I a long time ago, we had this big, this was before they made the flat screen TVs. And we had this big Toshiba 32-inch projection TV. And this thing, I mean, it took everything in me to move this TV. And one day when I came home from work, the whole bedroom had been changed around. And the TV was on the other wall. I said, oh, okay, you changed things around. I said, what you do? Have my son. I said, you have my son, David. Did you have him help you? She's like, no. I said, well, how'd you get the TV over there? I moved it. What? Did you put it on the floor and you slide it? What you do? Put a cardboard under it? How'd you move it? I just picked it up and carried it over there. I said, don't ask me to open another jar of pickles. Don't ask me. You know what I mean? That woman is strong. So what I'm saying that to say this, there is a sense in men that, we have an innate desire or innate, there's a thing in us. I don't even know what to call it, but we enjoy feeling necessary to our woman. So this idea, I don't need no man. You know what? If you type of woman that'll say that, stand by, because your man will feel unneeded, and then he's going to respond to you as if he feels unneeded, and then you'll find yourself, feeling unwanted, and it's a vicious cycle. But and I think my wife does that purposely. She still comes to me and asks me to do little things. And I don't know if she read this in the book somewhere or not, but she's real clever about it, and she still gets me to do things for her, and I enjoy doing it because, I do things that, in my mind, preserves her softness, preserves her femininity. I don't want my wife with calluses on her hands.
Yeah.
I don't want my wife pulling muscles in her back because she lifted. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's a give and take on both ends.
Yeah. And so you mentioned about you don't know where that comes from, and I'm always gonna go back to the Bible, because the Bible tells us a whole bunch, right? The Bible talks about that we were cursed, and that man would have to till the land to get everything that he wants. So if he's tilling the land, that means working. That means doing the hard stuff, right? To get everything he wants. If he wants the love, the respect, the honor from his woman, he's tilling, he's opening that jar, he's moving that TV. That's what's, and so that's something that's innately, that has been wired in men from birth, right? But what happens is that has been snatched from them. So you have some men who are like, well, no, let's do 50-50, and now you do this and you do that. No, that's because there are some lineage situations there that has snatched that and made him feel like, well, she should do just as much as me. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. So that's where that really comes from. You were wired. The man was wired to do that.
Yeah, I don't believe in 50-50. I believe in 100-100.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean, so my wife doesn't make as much money as I do. But I don't need my wife to make as much money as I do. I need her to give 100% of what it is that she brings to the table. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't always translate to money.
Right.
She does all kinds of things. She helps me behind the scenes, in business ways. Every time I come home, dinner's always cooking. My wife and I, so we have this agreement. Again, we talk about walking in agreement, right? Mm-hmm. And so we have this agreement that I'm going to go out and I'm going to get it. I'm going to bring home the buffalo, and I shouldn't even say buffalo because I don't eat meat, but I'm going out and I'm going to get it. And whatever it is that I bring home, she's going to prepare it. She's going to enhance it. and make it and give it back to me greater than what it is that I gave her. It's kind of like that analogy where we say a woman never gives it back to you the same way that you gave it to her. So if you give a woman a house, she's going to make it a home. If you give a woman groceries, she's going to turn around, multiply it, and give it back to you, and it's going to be a meal. If you give a woman your seed, you don't get sperm back. She takes it, she multiplies it, makes it bigger, and you get a baby.
Yeah.
And in the same breath, if you give a woman frustration, she's going to turn around, multiply it, make it bigger, and she's going to give you hell.
Yeah.
So it's all about understanding the nature of what it is that you're dealing with, finding common ground on that. Name of the show, right? Finding common ground and then walking in alignment with that agreement.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's switch gears for a second. You talked about the choices that are keeping you heartbroken. What are some of the things we talked about? Premature sex. What are some of the other ideas that you had about the things that keep people heartbroken?
So not listening to your gut. We talked about chasing them. Talked about not listening to your, and now not listening to your gut. You need to watch what they say. Watch what they do, not what they say. So if he's saying all these beautiful things, because you find those dudes that they got the charisma, man. They know exactly what to say because they study. Men study, right? Men, we don't process the same way as men. Men don't process the same way as women process. Men sit back and they study. Let me watch this for a little bit. Let me check this out. Check out the scene, right? Women go in and go, oh, I got this. We done, right? And she might have missed some things, right? Some things she might have picked up on real easily because of that discernment that she's been gifted with. She's been gifted with discernment and persuasion. So when he comes in, he checking out the scene. He's sitting back. He probably done watched you a whole week before he even approached you. We see what we want. We going after it the first day. We want it. I want that. Hey, what's up, dude? Right? He's sitting back. He done noticed you. Won't say hi. Won't look at you. Won't talk to you. Won't do nothing. He just checking you out. He's watching everything that you're doing. And then he's going to approach. And he's going to approach with armor. Because he done figured this out, that out about you. And he's checking you out. So he might say, and if he's not on something, if he on some crap, and he just trying to get that quick lay, he gonna tell you up front everything you want to hear. It's gonna sound real good. You can be like, ooh. But you gotta then watch him do what he said. If he said, I'm a man of my word, I'm gonna do everything I say I'm gonna do, and that joker don't show up for the first date, or he don't call you after he done been 3 hours late, or just little small things that could look like you're nagging or you're picking or you're nitpicking. No, but those little small things turn into really big things in the end. His word has to be his bond. Proverbs 25 says, a person who makes promises but doesn't keep them is like clouds and wind that bring no rain.
Wow. Heavy. Just you mentioned trusting your gut, and just another little scientific fact. Y'all know I like to go nerdy on y'all for a minute. So there are actually more. So neurons are these things that line the spinal column. It's neurons in the brain, and people associate neurons with the brain. But there are actually more neurons in your gut than there are in the spinal column and the brain. And so this is why oftentimes you just feel it. You just know in your gut. They always say, trust your gut. And sometimes without knowing how you know. You ain't read it in a book nowhere. You just know without knowing how you know. And that's because your gut is lined with neurons, so many neurons that that tends to be more accurate than the thought that you might process about the situation. And so this is why scientists have actually called this the second brain.
Wow.
But I like to call it your first mind, right? This ain't your first mind. That's where you actually thought and try to process the feelings that you have. But if you're in tune with who you are, know thyself, right? If you're in tune with who you are, you first know oftentimes in your gut. And I say that's the super highway that God talks to us. right? And where we get into trouble is that we rationalize our way out of obedience to God. So God is telling you in your gut, you felt it, but then you saying, no, but he really said some nice things, or nah, but she had that tight dress on, boy. And I think, we rationalize our way out of obedience to that inner working of the Most High that is communicating directly with us.
Yeah.
So just a little nerd tidbit.
That was good. That's good. I like that. That's really good. Because, it makes sense, though, especially those who are believers, when they believe in the Holy Spirit and, that it dwells there. So it would make sense. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So we got any comments on that end before we move forward?
Let me see.
Y'all make sure y'all say something, share, subscribe, and say something.
We're just running our mouth. I can't see nobody. I don't know why I can't see nobody.
Got too many mics over here. So we got somebody. We got Harold joined. Nate Henderson joined. Hey, Dad. We've got who else we got over here? We've got Will Jackson. We got Teresa Johnson. We got Desi done joined over here. Nicole Minor. Faith Holyfield. Hey, Faith, how are you? Sierra Moss is on here. Teresa Johnson. Thank you all for joining us.
I don't know why I can't see everybody, but thank y'all for being here. For those of you who are here, but I can't see anybody. My mine is not showing up.
We're gonna be putting together a Facebook page for His and Her Perspective, and we want to make sure that you all go over and like that when we do put that together, so that we will stream from there to be able to get everybody's comments on, because we found out that StreamYard don't want to play nice and let our personal pages show up in the comment sections. Yeah. So if you all can make your way over to Vaughn the Love Alchemist business page, you can click the link in the invite that you're listening to, or over to Coach Michelamon'e's business page, so that we can see your comments if you are coming from our personal pages. That will be helpful to us for the next time. But don't move now. Stay where you at for right now, but just for next time, right? So what's some of the tips you got over there? What's some of the reasons you think
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That people are their choices are leaving them heartbroken? I done talked about 3 of mine. You talk about what you got over there.
Well, you stole one from me. The trusting your gut. I had that one. I really wanted to go in on that, but you did a great job covering that. So I'm gonna veer off a little bit, and I think I'm gonna talk about couples.
Okay.
And so one of the things that we do because this isn't just for single people, right? We have a lot of heartbroken married folk out here too. A lot of heartbroken couples, people that are already in a relationship. So one of the things that I think leaves people heartbroken is failure to accept who they are right now, who we think we can make them into.
Wow.
Let me say it again. Failure to accept them for who they are right now, instead of who we think we can turn them into. And then, when I wrote that down, I'm like, man, I remember when I first got married. I'm in this relationship with my wife, and we had only been together. We got married 2 years after we had been together. And I was very headstrong, and some might even say arrogant. I don't know that I agree with that, but they might say. I might have had a touch of arrogance in the beginning, and just a little bit. And look, I had these ideas about what she should do and how she should do it, and what would make her better. But they didn't run congruent with the attitudes and the ideas that she had about herself. She had her own ideals about how she could reach her best self, how she could strive and become the best version of what it is that she could present to the world, right? Even just to our relationship. And so once I finally caught on, I'm like, man, how dare you put on her what you think she should be and not allow her to breathe and be who it is that she has been called to be. And that is, if that's not the height of arrogance, I don't know what is. And just to show you, just thinking in reverse, right? I'm hustling backwards in these thoughts, but just to show you how stupid I was in my thinking. I had these ideas about what it is that I thought she should do and who it is that I thought she should be. And when I stepped back and allowed her to breathe and just flourish in it, in what it is that she brings to the table, she's actually better than I thought that she could ever be from my own perspective.
Yes.
So I'm saying sometimes you just need to shut up and get out the way and let people accept people for who they are right now and allow them to become the best version of themselves instead of you thinking that you can cast on them what it is that you think they should be.
Absolutely. I actually have a post. It's amazing how we think alike. I actually have a post sitting in Canva that I just posted while I was getting ready and was like, okay, I'll post it later. That says, if you want the best out of your partner, let them be who they are. Because if you allow them to be who they are, you will allow them to be the best, get the best out of them.
Yeah.
You're not changing anything. People are most comfortable being who they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you let them be that, they're gonna give you the best that they could actually give you.
And as quiet as it's kept, I mean, shoot, I had my hands full just trying to bring forth the best version of my own self, let alone trying to manage this guy here and her.
Right.
You know, you ain't that strong. You ain't built like that. You ain't.
Right. The stuff that we do, right?
Yeah, man.
We gotta allow people to be who they are because that's when they show up. I mean, it's any other way. It's like businesses think of it that way. You know, when a business hires somebody, they interview them, which is what we talked about with, you know, the whole getting to know them, getting to know their seasons, feeling out what's in your gut. They interview them, they interview somebody else, and then they match them up against each other and go, which one is the best? All right. Well, the reason why we chose you is this trait, that trait, this trait, that trait. Now go run with it and do it and be your best that you can be. If we treated relationships, I keep saying this all the time, if we treated relationships like we treat business, and not in the sense of without emotion, but in the sense of the structure of business, we would get out of the relationship so much more than we ever could have imagined. Because most people not going to be late for their work or their job or their career, whatever the businesses that they're doing. They're not going to have bad customer service, not intentionally.
Right.
They're not going to mistreat their clients because they know that that's where the money is coming from. And they're going to make sure that they show up and allow those clients to tell them what they need.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we did that in relationships,
the business of love, right?
Man, we need to put that book together. Don't y'all be trying to steal our stuff either.
I shouldn't have said it out loud, right?
I know, right?
Yeah,
that's right, because they can't bring it like we can.
Yeah, that's right. I had another one.
Okay.
Now, I think I'm gonna throw one at the singles. There's this term out here.
Faith said, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Faith Holyfield said that's good, and then Tennille came in. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I see these comments, man. I feel left out.
Are you doing a watch party?
I did, man, but I shared it so many different places that.
Yeah, that's how it was last week.
I don't want to end up getting kicked out and then losing the watch party. So I'm just
right. Just keep it going.
Okay. But I'm sorry. One of the things, and I touched on this a few weeks ago when I talked about the young lady who had the boyfriend who was falling short, but he was still her boyfriend. So or she still allowed him to be her boyfriend, even though he wasn't bringing to the table what she, felt equitable about. And so I would say one of the things that keeps us heartbroken is refusing to level up. Now, and I don't mean level up by choosing somebody else who might bring more to the table. I'm talking about leveling up within ourselves and demanding more of ourselves and requiring more of ourselves so that we refuse to accept less than what we know we deserve. Mm-hmm. That part.
Yeah. And that I'm going to tell you why I believe that happens is because, we got these stigmas out here about how many men it is to a woman. And a lot of times I see in my clients where they say things like, well, I don't want to push him away. You trying to push you trying to push away, or you try not to push away something that ain't showing up good for you, or are you trying to push away the best thing that ever happened to you? Because if it was the best thing, then he's not going to be treating you this way. Right? So we have to get into the mindset of, what is my value? My value, if you know your own value, you're not going to allow someone to treat you or mistreat you where your value is going down.
Yeah.
You know, I have a post on my Instagram that counterfeits and or cubic zirconia and diamonds are not in the same glass case. You can't put a cubic zirconia in the same glass case. They're gonna put it in a totally different glass case. So when you got somebody looking at you like it's a cubic zirconia, then you need to tell them to move on down to the other glass case, because this ain't where they at.
Yep. Yep.
You know, so gotta know our worth. We gotta know our own worth in order for somebody else to know it.
Yeah, and if you sell yourself short, then you can't be mad at them for taking the discount.
Come on, don't be offering coupons if you don't want to redeem them.
Marking yourself down, talking about 30% off, man.
Right. Like, yeah, no. My daughter just joined. Hey, Kyla. Hey, little mama. So, what else you got over there?
You want me to come with another one? All right. Let me see. This is one for women.
Okay.
So women often put others first, right? Because that's the nurturing aspect of women. Generally speaking, I know that not all, right? But generally speaking, women tend to put others first because of that nurturing. But when you put others first at your own expense, that's when it becomes a problem. So we like to say giving from your overflow. So if you can just imagine a cup and a saucer, right? And just imagine pouring water or tea into that cup. And then as that cup fills, it begins to overflow onto the saucer, right? So you're giving from your fullness. You're not giving from a deficit that's within yourself. You're giving from your overflow. So what you're sharing with others, what you're doing for others, it comes from your saucer. So in other words, you have to take care of yourself first. It's okay to nurture others, but again, if you can't take care of yourself first, if you're not taking care of yourself first, then you can't present to the world the best version of yourself. And so that's always going to end up leaving you feeling depleted.
Yeah.
Feeling like you got the short end of the stick. But when you are a natural giver, when you're a natural nurturer, and you want to continue to be able to do that, continue to be able to provide that, because it makes you feel good about yourself and the situation, then you have to make sure that you take care of yourself first, if for no other reason than that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You cannot want something in someone else more than you want yourself. You just can't. You won't be able to. I say this, and I've had some flack in this because I put this in one of my webinars. I talk about how if you say, like, and I base this basically off biblical principle. The Bible says that the second commandment is to love your neighbor as you love yourself, which means that you have to first love yourself in order to love the neighbor.
That's right.
So it's biblical that you do this. So if you are showing the worst side of you in a relationship and you're saying that you love somebody, you're lying. Because if you're not showing up yourself, not talking about what you've given to them because they've done something to you. I'm talking about if you have not loved on yourself, taken care of yourself, been the first person to be able to get the love from yourself, and then like Ron says, pour from the overflow, then you're lying when you say I love him or I love him so much. No, you don't, because you don't even really know what that looks like. You have not experienced that love because you haven't experienced it within yourself first. So even with the planes, put your mask on first so that you can,
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So,
man, what you have any other ones?
I talked about the diving in. You diving in before you really get to know their true character. And that true character does not show up over a cup of coffee and you talking about all your stuff, and he's talking about himself, which is a huge red flag. If you are having a conversation, and I've had this to happen where I don't want to hear about your past. Why? Or you hear people talking on Facebook, well, I don't want, well, you shouldn't be telling about your past. Well, if you feel like this is a person that you really want to get to know, you really want a relationship with this person, because we kind of have a sense of that, like we talked about the gut. Oh, I kind of like this person, really want to get to know where this can go. And if you're trying to figure out where it can go, and y'all not talking about what happened in the past, and I'm not talking about all the details, but there should be some things, some signs that y'all give each other to say, don't do that. And if that person that you're with is not inquiring of those things, of what he needs to do better, of how he needs to make sure he doesn't do those things, so that you're not saying, but he knew exactly what I went through and he still did it.
Heavy.
That's something you got to pay attention to. So you got to know what their true character is, know about those seasons, know about what does it mean for them to get angry. If he is always agreeing with you, this is talking about true character. Everything that he's saying to you, he's in agreement. He ain't stirred up nothing. Red flag.
Yeah.
Because he has to be his own individual. He needs to be having his own mind. So he needs to know, right?
Yep. I agree. I like that.
Yeah. So, and I talk about that in my Seasons Relating in Relationships book that's coming out mid-September. So y'all look for that.
All right. There it is. I just ordered your other book too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Rejection Saved My Life.
Yep.
15 transformational keys on using rejection as fuel, y'all.
My wife is the one that ordered it. But yeah.
Yep. Yes. I heard it's a good book.
I heard it was too. I want to throw one to the married couples again. Look, men and women, we talk about this idea. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. If I didn't get it the wrong way, other way around.
Women from Mars.
Okay, right. There it is. So we are wired differently, right? We have some differences in our inherent characteristics, right? Mm-hmm. And so women tend to seek. Let's just talk about how we express ourselves, right? I say, as a man, never ever allow yourself to get into a heated argument with your woman. Okay. Now, I know it feels good to get your point across, but never allow yourself to get into a heated argument with your woman. Now, she might get heated, but you lose the moment you get heated. Why do I say that? Women are wired to seek freedom of expression, right? Mm-hmm. Women are wired to seek freedom of expression. They want to be able to freely express their emotions, their feelings. This is what is security in many ways for women. The security to freely express how she feels. Men are wired to control our feelings, to control our emotions. And so if you just think in terms of what a heated argument is, that is the free expression. That's as freely as you could probably express yourself, to just be going back and forth. And it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. It's just a free flow of energy, right? And so in that freedom of expression, you both being heated and both exchanging that way, the argument in and of itself is feminine energy. You understand? So now listen, men are 50%, you 50% your mama, you 50% your daddy. Right. Women are 50% your mama, 50% your daddy. So we both have masculine and feminine energy in us. Right. And we can both express ourselves in masculine and feminine ways. Right? So, but the heated argument is an expression of feminine energy. And as a man, you cannot be more feminine than your woman.
Come on now.
So by default, you lose.
We just gonna sit on that one for a second, because right there,
So
that,
and I look,
that was heavy, as you say.
it's tempting. It's tempting as hell because there are things that your woman can say, and nobody can push your buttons like your woman can.
Yep.
Right? My wife knows my triggers better than anybody on this planet. And I don't know that she's necessarily trying to do it, but she can become emotional about some things. She can get upset about something. And she might respond to me in a way that I might not necessarily appreciate. But I have to be able to see beyond that, because I know that once this thing devolves, I use the word devolve, once it devolves into a heated discussion, I lose no matter what the point is.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a saying that he who angers you controls you like a puppet. And men don't like to be controlled like puppets. You got strings and
yeah.
Look, here goes some fun facts. So the average couple dates for 4.9 years before getting married. And this is more than enough time to decide who has to take out the garbage forever, right? Men are much more likely than women, or 48% versus 28%, to fall in love at first sight. The recently single woman who wrote this article rolled her eyes pretty hard after hearing that. I had a couple more. This is some statistics, right? So approximately 14% of couples, this is one, you're in here, Vaughn. 14% of couples met in high school.
We met before that, but yes.
Yes. And then around 75% of college students have been in a long distance relationship. 29% of millennials aren't financially ready for marriage, they say. And almost 60% of long distance relationships actually work out. What else we got on here? Yeah, so I found those things to be kind of 81% of couples that agreed to wait said that their intimate moments were even more meaningful after waiting. So there's one for the abstinence.
Yeah, and most guys would probably say that that's a girl thing, right?
The whole meaningful thing.
But the truth is, I think that women, I don't know, just my 2 cents. I think women, when sex is done the way that it should be done, whatever that means to you, I think that women actually get more enjoyment, more fulfillment out of sex than men do. Just, I'm talking about strictly from a feelings,
from an emotional standpoint.
Yeah, and not only just emotional, but physical too. I think because for the most part we're relatively limited, in how much physical satisfaction we can get out of the encounter. But so without going, I'll just say it.
This women on here probably be like, for real.
I'll say it. I'll go ahead and say it. Women are typically multi-orgasmic.
That's true.
And men are not.
If they can reach that.
If they can, right. That's why I said first on there. When it's done right.
Right, when it's done right.
I ain't talking about y'all bottled up, and I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about when it's done right. I think that women typically find the sexual encounter more pleasurable. And that's when the stars are aligned and you both feel the same way about each other and all that good stuff. And then the physical happens. I think that women typically get more enjoyment out of it.
So do you think that the men it's more of a mind thing with how he responds more than the physical thing then?
Don't get it twisted. We like it too.
Okay. I'm like, wait a minute here.
No. Don't misunderstand me. It feels good to us too. But I just think that because the different layers that you guys are able to reach. I mean, again, man, if I could trade in multiple orgasms, 4, 5, 6 for one, I mean, that's a win.
Well, then y'all won't be able to go work.
Right. We're gonna curl up and put our food in our mouth and take a nap.
See, that goes show you the strength that these bodies have, right?
Yeah.
We have Faith Holyfield. She said definitely a good book. She talked about my book because I know that she bought my book at a event I was at. Rejection saved my life. 15 transformational keys on using rejection as fuel. And she said, say that to a comment that we said, but we missed it. And then we have Dr. Jennifer Haynes who stepped in. Hello, Ma, how you doing? And Dontaria over here, she said, indeed, the cutoff game gotta be fierce. I'm trying to get to the cutoff game, gotta be fierce.
Yeah.
So
you gotta be logical before you become emotional.
Yeah.
You got, like you said, if you ran it like a business, just think in terms of how banks do. You can't get a $5,000 loan from a bank. Hell, you can't get a $1,000 loan from a bank before they know who your mama is. They want to know your 3 closest relatives and friends. They want to know some of your history, your background. They're doing a credit check.
Yes.
They're doing a history of who you are. And I think that my body is more valuable to me than $1,000.
Right.
So before I share my body with you, I got to get a really strong sense of who you are. I want to meet your mama. I want to see what your mama and your daddy got to say about you. If you got siblings, I want to know what they got to say about you. I want to meet your closest friends. I want to see what they look like, what they talk about, because birds of a feather flock together, right? So if I was single and I ran into a young lady and she presented herself as, the type of material that I wanted, but she ran with 5 hood rats, chances are she's the 6th one. She just got on, like the Democrats say, put lipstick on a pig, right?
Right. And y'all better listen to this man right here who's been married for 30 years, been with his wife for 32 years, because this lets you know seriously that this is how it should be done. Is it being done this way? It is not. But this is something that you can still look forward to, and you don't have to settle for anything less. Right. It's just like if you able to pull some money out of a dude, then you should be able to pull his character out, his integrity out, all of those things. And if you can't pull those things out because he doesn't have those things, walk away quickly.
There's a Japanese proverb that says, when a man's character is unclear, look at his friends.
There you go, right there.
And even though they say it's Japanese, they probably got it from Africa, but that's
different. Probably did. All these proverbs came from us.
They did.
So this has been good. You got any more comments over there? Let me see if anything else.
Let me see.
You came in over here. I got 2 big mics.
Couple different pages. My mother, Cheryl Lewis, she says, hello, son. You all are doing a great job. Thank you, dearly mama.
Thank you.
Clayton says, a man will act in accordance to what he is inspired by or the circumstances that condition his thinking process. So our morals and virtues are challenged by television, radio, and living conditions we endure endlessly. Wow.
Yeah. Dr. Chaz, he said, roll over and go to sleep. Oh, Lord. That's hilarious. So we are, man, this is good. This is good conversation. We're gonna talk a little bit deeper. Today we mostly talked about the women and why our choices are leaving us heartbroken. But next week we're gonna come and talk to the men, because they make choices that make them heartbroken too. They have those items, because I know I coach men. The men that I've coached, I'm coaching 2 men that are coming from being heartbroken, and trying to show them what that looks like. So we're going to talk to the men next week. Thank you all ladies for stepping in. Zoe says they did get it from Africa. Hey, LOL. Our saying says, show me your friends and I will show you your character. LOL.
There you go. That's it. I knew they got it from everything came from Africa.
Yeah. And we have here Dr. Chaz says, this is a good conversation. Excellent points for both married and single. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for
Chaz. I will say this too, that, many of the points, really, if not all of them, even though we might have tailored some of the answers to women, I think they can be applied to men. Trusting your gut. Men have gut instincts just like women do. Ignoring red flags. We see red flags. And I talked about the heated argument that was primarily for the brothers.
Yeah.
And women, stop tempting that man. If stop pushing his buttons on purpose. Y'all know when y'all doing it. When we trying.
Yeah.
When we trying to be good, when we trying to You know when you got a good man.
Yeah.
You know, stop provoking that man. Stop poking the bear.
Right. That's true. Because you can't, you can't keep, I don't like the test. I think that tests are for children in high school. So trying to test somebody and see how far they're willing to go, don't do that.
Yeah.
Just let things flow, be comfortable, chill out. Just, you don't have to be, and because women, this is one of the major pitfalls that women have is that we automatically see future. When we walk in and we see a dude, we discern that he may be, halfway decent first. And we're looking at him, I like him. We didn't thought about how many kids we gonna have, if we gonna have a wedding, how many bridesmaids gonna be there. We gonna talk to we don't how many vacations we taking in a year. All of this stuff has happened, and we just been talking to the dude for a week.
Yeah.
And so that's that whole diving in before we know their true character, before we know who they really are. And we get enamored by the beauty or the stuff that's surface that we need to pay attention to. I'm telling you, I done it. Lord have mercy.
I'll throw another one for the brothers. I just kind of thought about this. And this is, again, I share a lot of personal experiences. And I know that, women tend to vent more about what's bothering them. Right. And so one of the things I had to do was learn to listen to her problems without rushing to solve them. Let me say it again. Learn to listen to her problems without rushing to solve them. And see, so it's tricky because we are, as men, we are natural problem solvers. And so when you give us a problem, we think automatically, okay, let me fix it. But she's not always venting because she's looking for your solution. Sometimes she just needs, again, we talk about to express how she feels.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that she doesn't already have an answer. It's not necessarily that she doesn't know how to fix what's bothering her. She just needs to express how she feels about it.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes what happens is because we're always rushing to solve the problems, she thinks that she's not being heard, that we're not listening to her. Sometimes she just wants a listening ear, not a problem solver.
Yeah.
And that's tough for us to discern because, we find ourselves not quite know, is it now? Is it this time? Does she need my solutions this time? And so it can be a slippery slope trying to figure out when to go in and when to fall back, but practice falling back. And then I think it would be helpful if you give her the opportunity to say, what do you think about this? What would you do in this situation? Look to see if she's actually going to solicit your ideas about what she should do before we just rush right on in looking to solve her problem. So that's one that took me a long, long time to figure out, but it don't have to take you as long as it took me. So there it is from me to you.
I want to add to that a little bit. I know I'm not a guy, but I am a coach and therapist. So do not think because you even gave her the fixing point that it's over. So if she, the best way, so if she comes back about it after y'all had this long 2-3 hour conversation about it, and you like, didn't we just talk about that? That's over. Why are we still talking about that? Because it's not resolved in her mind. She has not resolved it. And if she hasn't resolved it, she has to get through that. You have to allow her to walk through that. Like he said, allow her to get through that process. Because the very first time that you go, didn't we deal with this before? I mean, like, why are we on this? Because again, men process differently. Men done thought about it. By the time they verbalize it, it's fixed and they're done. That's not a woman. A woman has to keep talking about it. Now, I want to say this for the ladies. There, you have to give some cues to say, okay, I'm done. I don't talk about that anymore. And you have to hold to that. Don't go back after you said, I'm done with that, and pick it back up again. If y'all have resolved some things or even got to the place where you've decided that we're going to agree to disagree and drop this off the table, put that over in the box somewhere, we're not going to bring that up, don't bring it up again.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll even add to that just to kind of give some pushback, even on my own idea. Ladies, you have to understand that your man is wired to fix what's bothering you. When we genuinely care about someone, right, we want to fix what's bothering them. So just because he's rushing in to solve the problem that you just presented to him doesn't mean that he's not listening or that he doesn't care about what's bothering you. You have to understand that just as you expect us to be better listeners, you also have to be better at understanding where he's coming from and what drives him. When we care, we want to fix what's bothering you.
Yeah. Okay.
Be concerned if you constantly vent to this man and he offers nothing. Then you should, if all you got is a listening buddy, then that's a problem.
But that goes back to that whole, I'm not gonna stir the pot. I ain't finna argue with her, because he's trying to make sure his nookie stays in his nookie. And if he not disagreeing with you about nothing and challenging you for nothing, I'm not saying blow up like, Brother Vaughn said, don't have this fight huge thing. But there should be something that he does not agree with you on.
Yeah.
So Dr. Cha says, question for both of you. What are your thoughts about men expecting women to chase them? For example, asking the guy on a first date. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, but I'm going to tell you my thought. I will say this. Sometimes men have gone through some things where their self-esteem is not the best. So I do not disagree and say that a woman should not ask for something or say, hey, I'm interested in you. Let him know. But that should be very far and few in between. And it should not be the precedence to the relationship. If it set precedence, back out. But you need to just let him know, hey, I'm interested. But yeah, guys, go be risky. If you don't think she's gonna like you, just still go be risky.
It's tough out here, because I know that the dynamics in the relating game have changed, considerably. I'm a little bit more old school, and I like. I imagine if I was single, I would still enjoy the thrill of the hunt. I'm turned off. I've always been turned off by women pursuing me. So, and I'm thinking, man, if you that pretty, why you got to come? Why can't you wait on me? If you know what I mean. With you being that pretty, I'm thinking, if you have to pressure me, if you have to come for me, and I might not necessarily be thinking about it in the healthiest way, but this is just how my mind works. I want you to wait until I come over there. Now, there's a lot of guys that don't necessarily feel that way, and so best of luck to you. Because again, there are some guys who would appreciate you coming up to them. I'm just not one of them. Well, yeah. I'm married anyway, so. But I'm saying, if I was single, I would appreciate the young lady positioning herself so that I would notice her, and then here I come.
Yeah.
If I'm interested.
If you're interested, and that's what's going to make him come. So after you done batted your eyes and looked at, kind of.
How you do it? Do it again.
And he still ain't come. Maybe he don't want you, girl, but you gotta. And I think that one of the things that I'm so much, we deal, especially in our communities, it deals so much with low self-esteem in so many different areas with the men and the women, that it kind of still, again, you have to, I think that it has to be on you. You know who you are. You know what you're willing to accept and what you're not. If you go and you bat your eye, you giggle, and he still don't come, then back off, because he may not be interested.
Yeah.
But the men definitely should not be sitting back waiting. I think that's a narcissistic move. When a dude is kicked back, yeah, I'm going to see when she come on over here. And I hate to say it, this is my own personal opinion, not the opinion of this show. But I think it's a narcissistic weak move for a dude to be just kick back waiting, knowing he likes her, but he just want to see if she coming. That's personal opinion.
Now, I will say this. I'm not trying to belittle a woman who decides to go after a man. If you feel good about that, if that's your character, if that's your makeup, and you feel it makes you feel at peace to pursue a young man or man, then by all means, as long as your standards are in place and you're not accepting less than what you deserve in a relationship, and you feel like you can still have a healthy way of relating once you establish, once you make contact. Hey, by all means, I'm not knocking you. You got to do what makes you feel good about the situation.
And yourself.
And yourself.
And so Dr. Chaz, he is hilarious. He said, thanks for answering. I'm old school too. I think it's too much free milk out here.
Yeah.
Very much so. And women have to think of that. Again, don't be a cubic zirconia, be the diamond. So we a little bit over on our time today.
Yeah, we got to go ahead and wrap it up.
So any final words for the people?
I think we did good. Again, to those of you who, if you haven't already liked our Facebook page, go to our not Facebook page, but our YouTube page, His and Her Perspective on YouTube. Go in and like and subscribe to our page, share our videos. We do have the Facebook page. It's we're still in the process of building it, but there is a Facebook page, His and Her Perspective. What else?
Just make sure y'all be back here and say something. Share. When you get off of here, if you came in on the end, go ahead, share for, you done been on here. Or even if you get off here and you've been on here this whole time, share it to a watch party because you tested it out. You heard us. You preambled it. Share it to a watch party. Go eat some food because you watched it already. It's good. And then everybody else watch it.
I will say that we are doing this. I mean, this is a service that we're doing because we really, both of us really enjoy helping. But we also know that there are problems that come up that don't get addressed on the show. So if you feel like you need more help than what's been provided on the show, don't hesitate to reach out to either of us. Both of us are competent. So, whichever one of us you feel like you want to reach out to, if you have problems, make sure you do that. And I say that because Derek Jackson says, I'm super impressed with the consistent quality, content, and improved flow of the show. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Ron G says, Dr. J. Dr. Chaz says, come on, sis, you're breaking down that science. She was talking about sex transmutation.
Yes.
So those are the comments that I could see. What I was getting ready to say, though, there's a couple that there was a young lady who made a Facebook post. I got to share this before we go.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
She made a Facebook post and she was complaining about basically her relationship. I'm just going to keep it very general. And she was complaining about their Facebook, about their relationship. And so I made a comment on the thread and then I shot her an inbox message and I said, hey, if there's anything I can do, feel free, I don't mind helping. So long story short, she contacted me back and said that they had an appointment to go and sign divorce papers in 2 hours.
Wow.
They had an appointment to go sign divorce papers in 2 hours from the time that I was talking to her. I said, okay, well, let's see what we can do. Can you get your husband and let's get him on the line and let's all talk, see if we can talk within the next hour. So she reached out to him. They got back with me and we got on the phone an hour before they were going to get their divorce. I feel good about stuff like this.
Yes.
An hour before they were going to get their divorce, they got on the phone with me and it changed everything.
Come through.
I had another so this was Friday.
Yes.
So we got on the phone this morning and we talked again, and now they are full of hope and they feel good about the direction that they're headed. And it doesn't look like they're going to be getting a divorce at all, but rather, flourishing in their marriage. So again, these are the types of things that can happen when you reach out to people who first and foremost genuinely care about what you're going through. Yeah. And then additionally, that are competent to address what it is that you're going through. And that's both Coach Michelamon'e and myself. We are both capable, we're both competent, and we both genuinely care. So don't hesitate to reach out if you feel that there's anything that we can do to make your situation better.
Absolutely, because that's what we're doing this here. We're talking about things that we believe that are going to be beneficial to you as a whole. And if there's some things that we don't talk about, make sure that you email us at harmony@hisandherperspective.com so that we can go ahead and have conversations if you're not ready to reach out to us yet to talk with us about coaching, because that's what we're doing. We are both life and relationship coaches, and we are very well trained to deal with the things not by just experience, but by academically. We're very well trained to do exactly what we are called to do. So make sure that you reach out to us and email us if you have questions, if you have comments, you have something you want us to feature on the show. What you over there laughing about? Who'd have made a comment?
My little brother, he said, "Oh, here I come to save the day, old face ass boy."
Oh, with you and your cape.
Yeah, you know me. Ain't a problem.
I love it. That's what's up, man. I'm telling you, we are here to save one relationship at a time, and that's what we've been called to do. And this is something that we enjoy doing, and can do it for until we close our eyes. I know. So please make sure that you are following both of our pages at Von the Love Alchemist on Facebook, as well as on Instagram. You on Twitter and
I'm not as active on Twitter, but I am still on there at Von_says. So it's like Von says, it's like Simon says, but I'm just better.
I love it.
That arrogance again, right?
That's all right, man. You gotta know who you is. And then if you Coach Michelamon'e, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, all that. But on Twitter, I am Michelamon'e. They won't let me change it, but that's who I am. So we love y'all for real, for real. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure that you see us next Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk more about this matter, or we might be changing it up because I think we hit some. And do you think we need to come back about this for part 2?
I think, well, we can talk about it. We'll see what the comments might be throughout the week, but I think we fleshed it out pretty good.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
And if they want it.
You said what?
We can do it if that's what they want.
If that's what y'all want. If y'all want us to come back and talk about this, let us know. If y'all don't, we'll talk about what y'all want us to talk about. So hit us up at harmony@hisandherperspective.com or inbox us. Either way will work. We love y'all for real, for real. Coach Michelamon'e.
Love y'all, fam. Coach Von, the Love Alchemist. Peace.
Bye.